The royal family has now confirmed the funeral arrangements for Her Royal Highness, the Duchess of Kent, who passed away at the age of 92. This is no ordinary royal farewell. It will be the first Catholic royal funeral in modern British history, a powerful symbol of the Duchess's faith, her individuality, and her personal journey within the monarchy. In this video, we will walk through the funeral plans in detail. We'll explain why this service is historic, reflect on the Duchess's remarkable life, and highlight how her choices quietly reshaped the monarchy itself. Stay with us until the end, as every stage of this story connects to the bigger picture of royal tradition and change. The Duchess's funeral will be conducted as a Catholic requiem mass at Westminster Cathedral. Her coffin will first rest in the private chapel at Kensington Palace. This is where her family will gather in private reflection. On the evening of Monday the 15th of September, the coffin will be transferred by hearse to Westminster Cathedral. There, the rite of reception and vespers will be observed. This is a deeply solemn Catholic tradition, rarely seen in connection with the British monarchy. The following day, Tuesday the 16th of September, at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, the Requiem Mass will be held. This Mass fulfills the Duchess's personal wish to be honoured within the cathedral's sacred walls. The service will be attended by King Charles and Queen Camilla, the Duke of Kent and their children, George, Earl of St Andrews, Lady Helen Windsor, and Lord Nicholas Windsor. After the Mass, the coffin will be taken to Windsor for burial at the Royal Burial Ground at Frogmore. Here, she will rest among generations of the royal family. In accordance with tradition, flags across all royal residences will be lowered to half-mast on the day of the funeral. But in many other ways, this service will stand apart. It will not be televised, nor will it be open to the public. Attendance will be limited mainly to family, close friends, and representatives of the Duchess's charities. What makes this funeral so historic? First, the service itself. A Catholic requiem mass has not been associated with a senior royal funeral in Britain for centuries. Since the Act of Settlement of 1701, Catholics were historically barred from the line of succession. That law reflected the deep divisions that followed the Reformation. Yet in 1994, the Duchess of Kent quietly but firmly converted to Roman Catholicism. She became the first senior royal to do so since 1685. At the time, her decision was groundbreaking. When asked why she converted, the Duchess was disarmingly honest. "I do love guidelines," she once said of the Catholic Church. "I like to know what's expected of me. I like being told, you shall go to church on Sunday, and if you don't, you're in for it." Her choice was approved by Queen Elizabeth II, allowing her and the Duke of Kent to retain their royal titles and positions. This moment quietly reshaped how the monarchy navigated questions of faith in a modern age. Now, 3 decades later, the Duchess's funeral brings that decision full circle. For the first time in more than 400 years, a reigning monarch, King Charles, will attend a Catholic royal funeral. As Supreme Governor of the Church of England, his presence will be nothing short of historic. Westminster Cathedral itself adds further weight. Built in 1903, it has never hosted a royal funeral before. Its Byzantine-inspired design and soaring marble interior will provide a setting unlike any previous royal farewell. This funeral therefore marks a break from centuries of tradition, while at the same time honouring one woman's deeply personal faith. Catherine Lucy Mary Worsley was born in 1933 in Yorkshire, the daughter of Sir William Worsley. She grew up at Hovingham Hall, a country estate that gave her a love of music, learning, and rural life. In 1961, she married Prince Edward, Duke of Kent, a first cousin of Queen Elizabeth II. Their wedding at York Minster was watched by millions, and she became the Duchess of Kent. In her role, she supported her husband and took on public engagements, but she never sought the limelight. Instead, she quietly built a reputation for kindness and empathy. Perhaps her most famous public moment came at Wimbledon in 1993. Presenting the trophy, she comforted tennis player Yana Novotná, who had broken down in tears after a heartbreaking defeat. That embrace became one of the most human and memorable moments in Wimbledon's history. Behind palace walls, the Duchess lived through challenges. She faced periods of ill health and personal difficulty. It was during these years that she found comfort in the Catholic faith, which ultimately guided her for the rest of her life. In 1996, she stepped away from public royal duties, and in 2002, she chose to discontinue the use of Her Royal Highness in everyday life, preferring a simpler existence. She dedicated herself to teaching music in primary schools, often without revealing her royal title. Many parents and pupils knew her simply as Mrs. Kent. She also co-founded the charity Future Talent, supporting gifted young musicians from disadvantaged backgrounds. Her later life was defined less by grandeur and more by service, teaching, and compassion. The Duchess's personal story was also a love story. Her marriage to the Duke of Kent lasted more than 60 years. Royal biographers have shared small but telling details of their devotion. The Duke would personally drive his wife to the hairdresser each week, a simple but touching act that spoke volumes about their relationship. Now, as he prepares to say farewell, he will be at the heart of the funeral proceedings, alongside their children and grandchildren. So, what will we see on the day of the funeral? The service will begin with the Catholic liturgy of the Requiem Mass. There will be readings from Scripture, prayers for the departed, and sacred music performed by the choir of Westminster Cathedral. The atmosphere will be solemn and reflective, rather than ceremonial or grand. Because the Duchess requested a private service, cameras will not be present. Like the televised funerals of Queen Elizabeth II or Princess Diana, this farewell will be intimate. After the Mass concludes, the coffin will travel to Windsor. There, at the Royal Burial Ground at Frogmore, the Duchess will be laid to rest among her ancestors. The burial ground is a peaceful setting, surrounded by trees and close to the mausoleum of Queen Victoria and Prince Albert. It is expected that the Prince and Princess of Wales will attend, along with other senior royals, though only the presence of the King and Queen has been confirmed publicly. Across the country, flags will fly at half-mast, a visible sign of national mourning and respect. The Duchess of Kent's funeral will not only mark the end of a life, but also the beginning of a new chapter in royal history. Her choices, her conversion to Catholicism, her decision to live simply, her devotion to music and teaching were all deeply personal, yet they carried profound consequences for the monarchy. This service at Westminster Cathedral is unprecedented. It reflects her individuality, her faith, and her quiet determination to live authentically, even within the constraints of royal life. As Britain lowers its flags and the royal family gathers in remembrance, the world will witness a farewell that is both deeply personal and historically significant. A tribute to a duchess who blended tradition with independence, humility with dignity, and faith with service. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe for more stories and updates from the royal family.